White smoke, new pope. A historic day in Vatican City.
This is an American pope. You just go, oh gosh!
Pope Leo XIV leading the Catholic Church. We want to take you live now to the Vatican, where the new pope is celebrating his first Mass as leader of the Catholic Church. And for the first time, we're getting to hear him speak in English.
To recognize the marvels that the Lord has done, the blessings that the Lord continues to pour out upon all of us.
Pope Leo addressing the cardinals inside the Sistine Chapel. It was the first time he made public remarks again in English. It is an unlikely but welcoming pick for Pope.
The Chicago-born cardinal becoming the first ever American pope. For more on everything that's happening in Vatican City and reaction from Catholics and politicians to even the Pope's brothers and friends. Our live Team 7 coverage begins with Eliza Krasinski live outside the Cathedral of the Holy Cross. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Laura. Well, Pope Leo XIV spoke to a crowd of thousands yesterday at St. Peter's Basilica, and his first words addressing them, peace be with you. History has been made. An American has been elected Pope for the first time ever. Pope Leo XIV, formerly Cardinal Robert Prevost. In his first words as the leader of more than 1 billion Catholics worldwide, Pope Leo spoke of continuing late Pope Francis's vision of a church that reaches out to people from all walks of life.
How we can together be a missionary church, a church that builds bridges, that is always open to receive everyone.
Thousands of people in St. Peter's Square and around the world celebrating. The 69-year-old was elected after 2 days of deliberation. He was born and raised in Chicago, but spent much of the last 30 years ministering in Peru before Pope Francis brought him to the Vatican and appointed him to a prime post, helping select the world's bishops. Boston College theology professor Father James Weiss noticed Pope Leo spoke to the crowd in Italian and Spanish, but not in English. The conclave possibly picking an American pope who wasn't too American.
He has had an unusual career as a missionary, as an international administrator, and as an international Vatican expert. So in all those ways, nothing he has done has identified him with American interests.
Father Weiss says the new pope's choice of the name Leo suggests he will continue Pope Francis's path of social reform, since the last Pope Leo, more than 100 years ago, was also a social reformer. But he used most of his first speech to pray for peace.
I should also like this greeting of peace to enter our hearts and your families, and to all those people, wherever they are, all peoples throughout the world. Peace be with you.
And Pope Leo is relatively young for a pope. He's just 69 years old, and experts say, assuming normal health, he could lead the church for at least another 15 years. Reporting live in the South End, Eliza Krasinski, 7 News, today in New England.
And again, Pope Leo is marking his first full day as leader of the Roman Catholic Church. The celebrations in St. Peter's Square, as he was announced, were electric, as a sea of people just chanting and celebrating the new pope. With more on the wave of emotions, Rafael Romo is live in Rome for us this morning. Rafael, good morning.
Brandon, good morning to you. The Mass, his first Mass for Pope Leo XIV has just ended. It was conducted in the Sistine Chapel, and it was the same place where less than 24 hours ago he was elected Pope. And Brandon, let me tell you, he's a leader with global experience who spent much of his career as a missionary in South America, and most recently, Robert Francis Prevost, who has chosen the papal name of Leo XIV, led a very powerful Vatican office for bishop appointments. And because of his life experience, his language skills, and the fact that he served for nearly 2 decades in Peru, a South American country, the 69-year-old new pope is expected to build on Pope Francis' reforms. Prevost, the new leader of the Roman Catholic Church and the first from the U.S. to do so. He was born in Chicago in 1955. It was very interesting, Brandon, to hear in his remarks on the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica, after being introduced to the new pope, outlined his vision for the Catholic Church as one that builds bridges, he says, and engages in conversation. And having spoken in Italian for most of his remarks, Leo XIV switched to Spanish, one of several European languages he speaks, to address the diocese in Chiclayo, Peru, where he served. And so let me tell you, as a Spanish speaker myself, his Spanish was flawless. Again, one of the many qualities that the Cardinals saw that led them to choose Pope Leo as their new leader. Brandon, back to you.
Raphael, obviously the Cardinals know, the new Pope, but, we're kind of just getting to know him. You kind of talked about some of the things right there, but can you tell us more about what are some of the qualities that the Cardinals saw in Francis that wanted to pick him, especially an American, as the new Pope?
Yeah, there are so many, Brandon, really. He is very, very well educated. Not only does he have degrees from Villanova University, the Chicago Theological Union, but he also has a degree in canon law here in Rome. Also, he's known as a centrist unifier, not someone who's going to go too far to the left or too far to the right. And that kind of unifier is something that the Cardinals were looking for. As I mentioned previously, he spoke multiple languages, and he does so well. Part of what people here at St. Peter's Square were noticing yesterday when he spoke was how good his Italian is. Accent-free Italian. And I can tell you, his Spanish also was very, very good. He was also very well regarded by Pope Francis. If you can imagine, the office that manages bishops around the world is a very, very powerful one. And that tells you, that indicates that Pope Francis not only trusted him, but knew that he was someone who was up to the task, Brandon.
Raphael, thank you. Raphael Roma reporting live for us there in Vatican City.
Pope Leo's family back here in the United States filled with emotion as they learned he had been selected to succeed Pope Francis. Amanda is here in the newsroom with more on this.
Well, Laura, Pope Leo's brothers say they learned about his elevation to leader of the Catholic Church just as everyone else did, and they were surprised.
An Illinois native stuns the world, becoming the first American pope. No one was more surprised than his brothers here in the U.S.
And when the cardinal came out and started to read his name, as soon as he went, I knew, he was going to say Roberto, and he did, and I just freaked out and said, it's Rob, oh my God.
Not only the Pope, but the first American Pope, the first Pope from Chicago, and my brother.
Pope Leo XIV was born Robert Prevost, raised on the south side of Chicago. His childhood home and parish are both modest. But those who grew up with him say he's been practicing for the part since childhood.
We used to play Mass. I'm serious, we used to play Mass.
This old yearbook shows the future pope as an 8th grader at St. Mary's of the Assumption. He went on to study math at Villanova University before being ordained in 1982. He is American by birth, but international by choice. Leo XIV spent most of his career as a missionary in Peru, where he eventually became a naturalized citizen. Pope Francis made him a bishop there and then brought him to the Vatican to run the office of bishop appointments.
He's incredibly bright, but he doesn't condescend. He uses his gifts in a way that lifts people up.
Now, Pope Leo XIII was known for his commitment to social justice. So by choosing that name, it could mean Leo XIV is primed for a similar legacy. Laura.
Amanda, thank you. And our coverage continues on the new Pope. Coming up in our next half hour, a college connection. Hear from one of Pope Leo's old classmates who now works at Merrimack College.